Coming up on the season finale of Cardinals Insider, it's the final edition of our last inning series, voiced by the one and only Bob Costas. Then after that,
to finish your career where everything started for me is just a blessing,
Joe Buck and Albert Pujols deliver a two-part interview on Albert's career and legacy. Then later, we celebrate Albert Pujols becoming the fourth member of the 700 Home Run Club. All that and more ahead on the season finale of Cardinals Insider. Welcome to the season finale of Cardinals Insider. We're in the final week of Yadi and Albert's last regular season. It's the end of an era. Bob Costas puts it all into words during the final installment of our 9-part series, The Last Inning.
In the air left field, and Pujols has given St. Louis the lead. This ball is gone. 2-run home run.
The Cardinals are world champions for 2000.
And the Cardinals have won the pennant. He's got down the alley. Big man.
So here we are at the final chapter, the closing days of an unforgettable era. Few finish on their own terms. Even fewer leave a truly lasting impression. But you've done more than just make an impression. You've helped define 2 decades of baseball. And in this, the final moments, you leave us with one last look at history in real time. These are games we'll always remember, and moments that will be talked about for generations to come. A farewell 2 decades in the making as you take your place among the greatest Cardinals of all time.
Swing, and there it goes, way back. That's home run number 700.
This is it. This is the last inning.
Albert Pujols' homecoming may always be the defining attribute of 2022. He took some time to reflect on his career and season with my friend Joe Buck in a 2-part interview. Here's part 1.
How are you, my friend?
Good to see you, pal.
So good to see you, man.
How's everything?
Everything's great.
Good.
Everything is great.
Awesome.
Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, buddy.
I feel like on some level you're more willing to do this kind of stuff than maybe you've ever been. Am I right about that? That you kind of want to document this last season in St. Louis?
Probably, I think it's really special. I think, just remember 22 years ago, first time stepping on the field. Where was it? Where was the old stadium? Right across the street,
Yeah.
I think.
Back that way.
Yeah, and to be able to, to be back and just reflect on everything, 10 years after you leave here and come back and just have another opportunity, to finish your career where everything started for me is just a blessing, So I really try to enjoy every moment, every time that I take the field, every stadium that I go for the last time, because it is going to be the last time that I go as an active player,
Are you thinking numbers, or when does that moment get you? Is it when you get past first base? Is it or even at all?
I don't. I'm gonna have plenty of time to look back and really sit down with my kids and friends and really look the amazing things that I done in this game. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I don't know where I stand in history, but it's hard. It's hard for me, and I'm being honest with you. It's hard for me to really focus on the number when I'm an active player. Because I know that there's going to be more.
We're standing here at first base, and we're talking hitting and home runs and all that other stuff. But I know you to be somebody who really takes pride in his defense. You and Yadi, can you give us the sign that would happen when you go behind a runner and he'd throw down to first base? I mean, what
I can't give you that secret in camera because then I'm in trouble. I can't.
Is it him or is it you?
Both. It's always been a connection between both of us. I mean, we always on the same page, Hen and I, and that's what's so good. Like, besides our relationship that we have built since he got to this organization, it's just the understanding of this game.
I remember at the beginning of your career, I think it was Scott Rowland, somebody said to me, this guy runs the bases, he becomes invisible.
Yeah.
Was it, somebody used to make fun of you for that in a good way, because you'd steal a base, you go first to third, you go first to home, you go second to home when, you're a good base runner.
I remember, man, I spent a whole week with Luke Brock here and second base mostly, because he told me, I want to make sure that you can score with any base hit. Doesn't matter how hard, how slow it is. If anybody, a fast runner can score, I want you to be able to score. And I knew that if I want to get better running the base, I'm one of the slowest guys in the league. Not the slower, because I think the slowest is in my team, Yadi. But
that's a shot.
But those times I spent a lot of time with him, and who's better than, Lou?
Last question here. Without ever having asked you this before, I'm betting that you were a good student in school. Were you a good student in school?
I was. I love school.
Because you're a studier, and you study the opposition, and you look for trends and tips. And
you have to.
Yeah, but I feel like it's a lost art. Like, guys are still coming to you, I'm sure, like, hey, what do you see from, the Houston right-hander? And you're picking up little clues to maybe know what's coming.
It's just little things like that in this game. Yeah, everybody's really focusing now on sabermetry, launch angle, and all that stuff. But remember, you still need to do the little things. Observe, like, when can I take advantage? If this guy is tipping, or if I can steal it back because he's giving it to me, he's doing 1-5, 1-7. I mean, all those little things go way beyond. And those are the things that when I'm sitting in that bench and you see me maybe laughing and laughing with Yadi and Wainwright, but both of my eyes is on that pitcher, on that catcher, and on the game.
Es tu oficina abierto?
See?
Your office is open down there?
Yeah.
Can we go walk and talk down at home plate?
Yeah.
After the break,
I want to make sure that when I step out this batter's box, I own this.
see part 2 of Albert's conversation with Joe Buck. Stay right here. You don't want to miss it. Before the break, we showed you part 1 of an interview between Joe Buck and Albert Pujols. Here's part 2.
You're a very humble guy, but when you dig in right here, this is yours, isn't it?
Yeah, I want to make sure that when I step out this batter's box, I own this. No matter who I'm facing, trust in my work, and execute, whatever I had to execute that night.
I'm wondering, I don't think I've ever asked you this, how is this ballpark to hit in, and how does this ballpark compare to the old Busch Stadium?
This is tough.
This one?
This ballpark is tougher than old Busch. As you see, Goshman hit a ball the other night, 107, 108, straight center. That ball should have been on the sea, and the guy caught it barely in the warning track. And I told people, I'm like, this ballpark, it was a big yard. It's a pitcher's park. But I think back then the ball used to carry a little bit more. But it's a tough ballpark to hit, but it's been great ballpark for me.
Have you surprised yourself this year at all? Be honest.
No, I don't, because I know if and God can strike me, if I believe that I cannot play this game anymore, I don't think I would have been staying here.
It's like McGuire. McGuire walked away.
Yeah, if I would have believed in my heart of heart that I cannot, play this game anymore, I wouldn't be standing here. Like, I wouldn't waste the Cardinals' time. I wouldn't waste the fans. I wouldn't waste my time. But I think that when you have the gift from him, the ability, and you put the hard work, you can't be surprised about that. I always believe it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And, I think right when this team needed it more, I think, I'm having a great at-bats and more opportunity and helping this ball club to win. But To tell you the truth, I'm not because I know who I am. I know who I represent. I know where the gig is come from, which is from the Lord. And I have so many people praying and pushing for me. And I believe that I have a responsibility, not just for the Cardinal Nation, not just for the United States, but my country back in the Dominican Republic, who I want to make so proud every single day. I'm honored, to be a Dominican and represent my country also.
I'm so proud of you.
Thanks,
You're
buddy.
just a wonderful human, and like I said at the ESPYs, you're one of the few guys that you see from a distance, and everybody hopes you're as nice as they think you are, and then they meet you and they realize you're even nicer. You're a great human being, and then a great ball player.
No, I
I'm
appreciate
proud of
it, man. It means a lot, buddy.
right,
Appreciate you, bro.
Thank you.
Love you, bro. Thank you so much.
You can see more Albert and Yadi coverage on YouTube. Watch videos from the entire season. But for now, don't go anywhere. There's more of our season finale after the break. It's been a remarkable year for Albert Pujols on so many fronts. He's captured milestone after milestone, but 700 home runs stands above them all. Let's take a moment to celebrate number 5 becoming the 4th member of the 700 Home Run Club.
Throughout this whole thing, the main focus has been on helping us win. It's not about just a story of you coming back, but helping us win a championship. And in the process, you've hit 700, and that accomplishment is, that feat is unbelievable.
I'm blessed with the career that I had. I always say something in the dugout which is really special. It was a special night to do it here in Dodger Stadium, but it was even special to do it with this uniform, where everything started for me, my whole career. The Cardinal organization that gave me an opportunity to grow up. I left for a long time, but to come back and to be able to accomplish this is pretty awesome.
Congratulations, Albert. You're one of the greatest of all time. We love you. Happy 700.
After the break, learn more about Yadi and Waino as people during the finale of our Chase to 325 series. Yadi and Waino are beloved by Cardinal fans. You know their on-field heroics, but what they do off the field has been just as impactful. Who they are as people is the subject of the final installment of the Chase for 325 series, presented by Cardinals Magazine.
I call it El Ritual del Capitán, the captain's ritual. Right before the game starts, he goes in, he will look back, he will kiss Pi, kiss Mai, his tattoos for mom and dad, looks up in the sky, and then the last thing he does that gives me goosebumps, he looks up, he lifts his glove to the booth. And every time he does that, it reminds me of the first time we called a game here, Benji, Molina, and myself, and he hits a home run. So we're going crazy, home run, Benji's screaming, and I'm like trying to not cry because I think of my brother, that's his brother, and then Yadi crosses the plate, he just goes like this. So I looked at Benji, I'm like, Benji, what a moment, your brother, we're doing this. And then when he crosses home plate, he points at you. How does that feel? And then Benji looked at me. And he's like, he didn't point at me, he pointed at us. And at that moment, I'm like, this is gonna be fun.
Adam's great. I'm sure there's been a lot of stories shared about him, but he's a pretty special person, I think, because it's been amazing for me to watch him as a person and as a man, that he really has stayed the same from the moment he was called up in 2006, and I guess he was called up a little bit in 2005, but from the first time he joined us as a Cardinal, the 2006 teams, all the way through 2022, he's been an incredible competitor on the field. He's been an amazing teammate, I know, because you can see him interact. He's funny, he's engaging, he's a man of faith. And I think that's been most impressive, is just to watch how he has just been a steady person that hasn't changed throughout an amazing career.
He's been so impactful in my life that I can't put one. I can tell you that, I'm a Christian because of him. That's probably the most impactful thing someone can say about somebody, and I'm not in my faith or where my family is without him. But he's been instrumental in my career, not only to, when I was playing second base and moved that transition mentally and trying to get through some really difficult times myself, and spending countless hours in his hotel room after games when I wasn't going well and he was going great, and talking me off a cliff and that type of stuff. But I'm not who I am today without Adam, as a man, as a husband and father, and I think that is more impactful to me than anything on the baseball field.
Having Yadi supporting anybody here, us, the Cardinals, is the best. When I talked about him, I say a lot of times, if I think I'm smart, Yadi is 3 steps ahead of me, or 4 steps at times. We talk about the game of baseball, and he's always way ahead of what I want to say, and sometimes I feel bad and I shut up and I just listen to him because he's way ahead. So that being said, being in the clubhouse helping the kids, I can't even imagine like what these kids can go to him and say, hey man, what were you thinking here?
He will always ask me, how's your wife? How's your kids? How's your dogs? How's your mom? How's your sisters? How's your brother? And he met all of them once, twice, 3, 4 times. And the fact that he just takes those 30 seconds to ask me about my mom, that listens to every single game we do, that shows me, and I need to show and tell people, yes, you see a superstar, a Hall of Fame player, but the guy that you don't see behind that mask is even better than a ball player, because he will take the shirt off his back to give it to you, and I've seen that before, and that I can only learn from that, because if a person, a player of that caliber can do something like that for anybody, I can do it too. And I look up to that kind of person more than I look up to a Hall of Fame pitcher, catcher, baseball player, because at the end, it's not so much how many home runs you hit, but it's how many smiles you can deliver.
Later on in the show, relive some of Yadi and Albert's all-time greatest moments.
And there's the first base hit of the Major League career of Albert Pujols.
It's a special Redbird Reels in just a bit. This is normally the point in the show where we take one of your questions during Ask Ozzy. We'll resume that next year. So be sure to submit your questions at cardinals.com/insider. Today, we hear from fans in a different way. People from all over have been traveling to St. Louis and other cities to watch Albert and Yadi during their farewell tour. Our cameras hit the road to see how fans are saying so long to these icons across the country.
Oh man, we don't miss the Cardinals when they're in town. It was goosebumps. I mean, the whole stadium standing up.
That's what we're here for. History. We want to see history tonight.
So we've watched them for so many years succeed and succeed and succeed. And finally, we now have the opportunity to watch them in that chapter, and it's been amazing.
I'm so happy that Pujols came back to St. Louis for his final year, and it's just fantastic.
It's really corny to say, but it's magical. It feels like 2011 again, and it feels like everything's coming together again. So.
I'm just happy to see both of them still playing at the caliber they are, and it does take us back years ago when they were playing together in the World Series.
It's truly amazing. We stand up and cheer, but so does everybody else in the whole crowd. The Pirates and everybody stand up and cheer them both on. They know how good he is, so it's awesome.
The home run.
Oh my God, it's so exciting.
Yeah, it's so exciting.
It brings back so many memories growing up, watching both of those guys. Every square inch of my room as a kid was Yadi posters, Albert posters, cardboard cutouts. So I think for Albert coming back and being able to say goodbye to us specifically, it's special. It's really special just to say goodbye one last time and see those guys in person.
Albert and Yadi have both had amazing careers. Year after year, they set records helping to define an era of Cardinal baseball. They end their careers together as teammates, but close friends. Let's take a look back at their journey on this week's Redbird Reels.
The first base hit in the major league career of Albert Pujols.
There's Yadier Molina's first base hit in the major leagues.
He hits it in the air to left field. This ball is gone. 2-run home run, Yadier Molina. St. Louis has a World Series winner. Absolutely murdered. He's got another and more respect. About 3 on the night. What a team. What a ride.
Hit number 2,000 for Yadier Molina.
Welcome back to St. Louis, where he belongs, Albert Pujols.
Welcome back, Albert! Yadier Molina comes through.
And for the 325th time behind the plate, Yadier Molina.
Albert unloads. 698. Albert Pujols.
That's all for this episode and this season. Join us again next season. And as always, you can watch previous episodes on YouTube or cardinals.com/insider. And for everyone involved with the show, I'm Ozzie Smith. Thanks for a great season, and we'll see you next time.